Hey guys, welcome to Shipton Engineering. Today I'm going to be talking about the pros and cons of an engineering degree or of an engineering student. Assuming most of you already know what engineering is, I'll skip past the generic definition and try to get right into it. But before we start, I'd like to mention that I won't be giving off generic points that most videos do, but more so delve into what I see as a student myself and the pros and cons I see on a day-to-day basis. I'm going to start with the pros, and I'll be working my way from the academic portion of engineering all the way to the career portion. So the first pro of an engineering degree, in my opinion, would be the wide range of options or variety as a student. What I'm referring to are the engineering disciplines, but you may know them as civil engineering, mechanical engineering, electrical engineering, and so forth. But essentially what they are just subcategories of the study of engineering. Unlike other degrees or diplomas, you're not locked into one set area of study, like biology or physics, but instead you'll go into engineering first year, studying general courses involving calculus, physics, and so on. But then after that, you'll be given a decision to choose what further area of study within engineering you'd like to do. This is beneficial as you may enter engineering with a certain idea of what you'd like to study or what engineering discipline you'd like to go into. But throughout your studies, you may find that you have new interests or a new career path you'd like to take. And engineering allows you to do that without having to restart your degree and putting your education on a hold. For example, when I was entering engineering, I always thought I wanted to be a mechanical engineer and deal in the auto industry. But throughout first year, I realized that I was actually better at statics than I was at dynamics, and that I also preferred infrastructure and structural engineering, water resources engineering, more so than I enjoyed any mechanical engineering. So basically, my engineering degree allowed me to change my mind during my first year and switch my career path without having to halt my degree and restart. The second pro of an engineering degree would have to be the challenge. As many of you may know, an engineering degree is considered one of the more difficult that one can take. You're probably wondering, why is this considered a pro? Well, there's actually 2 points that I'd like to talk about. The first component is the direct consequences of engineering being a challenge. It forces you to develop a schedule as well as a strong work ethic that will help you later in your academic career if you decide to go into academia or in your professional career. The second component is the challenge itself. When you're working hard every day, making connections from your homework to the real world, it really gives you a sense of self-worth. The third pro of an engineering degree would have to be the aspect of social interaction. Upon entering engineering, first year is very competitive, as everyone is trying to build up their GPA and get into their discipline of choice. But in the following years, when everyone is in their own discipline, people begin to collaborate in studying, doing assignments, labs, etc. This allows students to build friendships, network, as well as just generally improve their public speaking ability, which will help you further your career and be successful. The fourth pro of an engineering degree would have to be the employment security. By this, I mean the ability to always have the prospect of finding a new job. Of course, this depends on industry as it goes up and down, but it'll always come around. For example, no matter what, there will always be infrastructure in this world, and that will always require engineers to design, build, and repair. The fifth and final pro is pay. It is well known that engineers are paid well. By this, I don't mean $1 million or $1 billion, but I mean that engineers will always be making a sustainable wage. In Canada, it can be anywhere from $60,000 to $200,000 and beyond, depending on your position and seniority. The pay is also very good for students, whether it be a co-op work term or as a summer student. For example, in the summer after my first year, I was making $20 Canadian, which isn't a lot, but fairly good compared to our minimum wage of $15. The next year, I made $25. The year after that, I made $28. So that's almost a $30 wage before I've even graduated. I'm now going to switch over to the cons of an engineering degree. The first con of an engineering degree would have to be the level of difficulty. This begins coming out of high school. You're going to have quite high grades and going to have to already be putting in work to be entered into engineering to begin with. Then, in first year engineering, the scramble begins. The workload changes exponentially. You'll have assignments weekly, labs, exams, quizzes. You'll be up to your neck in homework. I don't mean this to scare anyone, but to become an engineer, you're going to have passion and willing to be able to put the work into it. The second con of an engineering degree is job saturation. And I know this may be a little confusing, as I just commented on how employment security is actually a pro for an engineering degree, but they're a little different. When I was talking about employment security, I meant that there will always be an opportunity to find a job. Whereas with job saturation, I'm commenting on how the population of engineers coming out of university every year is growing and growing. This means that as an engineering student, you're going to have drive and passion and be competitive to go and get a job. This isn't supposed to be a deterrent from taking engineering, but is just commenting on how you'll have to go out and get it for yourself. The third con of an engineering degree would have to be the impact on your social life. This differs from the pro of social interaction, whereas that was more so dealing with colleagues and your public speaking, but this is more so speaking on the impact on your own personal time. When you enter engineering, you're going to be very busy with labs, classes, homework, and studying. Obviously, this is going to eat into your own personal time, taking away from time with friends, family, and even going out and doing sports. I don't mean that you won't have any time at all, but you're just going to have to be willing to devote a lot of time and decrease your time spent in other aspects of your life. The fourth con of an engineering degree would be how expensive it is. Although it will vary from university to university and region to region, here in Canada, I'm well aware that my engineering degree costs about $2,000 Canadian more each year than a science or arts degree would cost. Beyond that, engineers also have to be paying for their programs, more textbooks, engineering paper, and other engineering utensils. The fifth and final con of an engineering degree are the high stress levels and long hours. Although I'm only a fourth year engineering student, I have worked in the summer and seen firsthand how it impacts the mind of an engineer. When referring to stress, I'm talking about dealing with large projects where to every minute detail you want to perfect everything, which is obviously going to put a lot of stress on you, as well as a lot of engineering projects end up having an impact on the lives of citizens in the communities that surround them. Obviously, having the lives of citizens in your hands is quite stressful. This means that you will not always be working a 9 to 5 or 40 hours a week, but you're going to have to work until you have what needs to be done. I would like to emphasize that by no means are these all of the pros and cons of an engineering degree, but this is what I, in my own personal experience, find to be the benefits and the negatives of being an engineering student. I hope this was insightful, and I hope you tune in for later videos. Thank you.